So, Larry, it's time to talk about a really cool game called Witness. Okay, so designed by Dominique Bowden and published by Astari Games and Asmodee Games. Astari is part of Asmodee-ish. It's like a studio of Asmodee. So, Larry, let's talk about this game. So, you haven't had a chance to play this, but I've played it a few games. Witness is set in the world of Blake and Mortimer, a Belgian comic series from the 1940s by Edgar P. Jacobs that exists in the world of Tintin. Okay. He's also the creator of Tintin. It includes 64 cases to solve from 4 different difficulty levels. Each person is going to play one of the characters, and they each get a standee. So the guy I was playing it with, Thomas, was asking me, these standees are kind of pointless, aren't they? And the only thing I could think of is when you're looking at the picture that tells you who to whisper to, it would be the quickest way to find out who's playing which character. Huh. The picture's also on their own personal little book, but they're great little standees. It's like a really high production for as few things as are in this game. Pretty small box. Not very much going on. The game is pretty much books. So, I mean, the characters are Blake, Mortimer, Nasir, and LaBruce. So, if you look on the back of the rule book, there's like a biography of each one. Mm-hmm. And like a couple of these guys were only in like one story, but it's just like they were finding characters. Yeah. And I guess they're planning for like expansions that bring it to 6 players because it's got biographies of like 2 more characters that haven't. Maybe they're in some of the mysteries that we haven't gotten to yet. I don't know.
There are 64. That sounds like a lot. So
LaBruce is actually part of the like French National Weather Service. Like that's his job. I don't know. It's really 1940s comic book. So, yeah. So, Larry, the game consists of multiple books that are used to try and cooperatively solve a mystery. We've played mysteries about murders, shell con game, one thing under cups that you're moving around. Yeah. And murder by poisonous flowers. So all kinds of cool little things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And there's, 61 more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't know there was quite that many. There's a lot of replay value in this.
Yeah, for sure. And the difficulty levels, I mean, you look on the back of the case book, it's got them all listed out, and they're like different colors for the different levels of difficulty.
Okay.
So first, here's what you do. You read the text from the cases book of the mystery you're going to do. It's an introduction to the mystery. It will show who's saying the text in a little picture. It's got a word balloon and he's saying it. So that's the person you have read, whoever's playing that character, right? Mm-hmm. So next, each person looks in their personal clue book to see the clues that they have for that mystery. Mm-hmm. Each mystery is just on one page of each of these books. So you can reference your own clue book and the case book at any time. So the next phase is to whisper. There's a track in the middle of the table. It's just like a little, 5-inch by 2-inch little, like almost bookmark sized little board. Mm-hmm. And you've got a standee of one of the villains from Blake and Mortimer called the Yellow M. So his thing was like spray painting yellow M's all over the place. I don't know. It's a really weird theme. So you move him along this track and it tells you who you're whispering to. He starts on number 1. 2 people whisper to each other, and then he moves to the next one. So you just whispered to me and someone else whispered to someone else. Then it moves to the next one. So then I whisper to somebody else who just got whispered to, and the person that just whispered to it. I mean,
yeah,
it goes around like that.
Yeah, so there's some.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you've got your information and the information that somebody gave you. So then when you go to whisper, you're passing along your information and the information someone just gave you. Then you go back to the beginning, and the same 2 people that whispered at the beginning whisper to the same people again. But now you've got 3 people's information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now when you get that third person's information, the 4th round of whispering, you're going back to the second person you whispered to, and now you're passing along 4 pieces of information to them. Yeah. 3 pieces of information because they already know their piece of information. Yeah.
But they're
how it ends up is you whisper twice and you get whispered to twice, and you by the end of it you know all 4 pieces of information. I mean, that's how it is. It's hard to explain exactly how it is, but whisper twice, whisper to twice, you know all 4 pieces of information. So you then the key to this is that you're eventually going to have someone tell you all the information that you don't already know. You then get a chance to write down clues. There's a big thick score pad. I could see playing this game enough that
you might need a legal pad or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. It's like the name of the mystery at the top, 3 places to write down your answers and a big blank space to, write
whatever
down clues.
Notes or whatever you
Yeah.
want.
So you get a chance to write down clues, and you're frantically writing down clues because
they're whispering to you.
oh my God, you start getting so much information in your head that you're just really, really writing down the clues.
Yeah.
So then you open up the questions book, and then there's going to be 3 questions to answer. Some of the mysteries will just be straight 3 questions, and then some of them will have pictures or diagrams or graphs or stuff like that. And what's cool about them is they're not the questions you would expect. So it doesn't just say, what is this? Which is like what you're expecting. Like, what cup is the thing under? It doesn't say that. It says, would the fact that there is no ball under the first cup lead you to believe that the person doing the game is a con artist?
Ah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
And then it'll say, would the fact that there's nothing under the right cup lead you to believe that he's a con artist? And then it says, like, you bump the table, like, LeBruce bumps the table to make the middle cup fall over. There's nothing there. Would that lead you to believe that this man is a con artist? Like, would the fact that it's not under the middle lead you to believe that? Yeah. Not that there's no ball, just that it's not under the middle one.
Yeah.
So they're really challenging questions. That's where the crux of this game is, how challenging the questions are. And it makes you really have to think around the question.
You got to understand what they're asking and what they really want to know, rather than what you would think the answer is. That sounds
for sure, man.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Each player answers the 3 questions. You then open the solutions book, read out the answers, and the score is based on the amount of correct answers between the players. So it does a sort of Hanabi-like scoring where it's like, the most you can get is 3, 6, 9, 12. So if you get 12, it's like, great job. If you get like 0 through 4, it's like, read the whisper again and try this mystery over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's got that kind of scoring, and you're just trying to get the best score you can. So really, this game, it doesn't really matter even what you're scoring. You could start really challenging yourself to get good scores, but at no point did we really care what our score was. The act of the game was so much fun that it didn't even matter. It's almost like the telestrations as an activity. Who cares what the score is?
Yeah.
That's where games like Hanabi and this get to. They're a little more important than something like telestrations.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, if we're scoring like half, we didn't really care. It was so much fun doing the actual act of the game, and that's where it is. Because it's fun to do the whispering part. One of the things I thought was that it was going to get kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're playing with people that, you're not around all the time, which we were, like, is it going to be awkward to have to, like, get a whisper in people's ear? And but it wasn't. It was just a lot of fun. And one of the things that happens is there's not a ton of, like, outright humor in this game. But where the humor comes from is really trying to focus and remember, and you just get kind of like, it gets kind of to like a goofy laughter sort of place. Like, everyone starts getting really punchy because the book is so, like, it's not slapsticky, but it's like, aha, like huzzah, like that sort of
that 1940s kind of.
And they really, really, really went with the theme in this game. As much as you could go with the theme, just like read a mystery, read your clues, whisper, write down the clues, answer the questions. Like, they got the theme in this thing like crazy, man. I mean, how they got it in that blows my mind. But, I mean, they really did. I mean, you really feel you can get into like, okay, we're playing these detectives and we're trying to solve this mystery. And, like, you start like feeling. And the cases are only like one little blurb of text. It's not like they explain it's not like you read a short story and then try to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've really like brought down the like story-driven mystery game into like simple things with tough, challenging questions. And I think it's something special, man. So
it sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah. So the game is incredibly interesting. It's got some of the coolest mechanics I've seen, and it's so simple. There's such a little amount of actual stuff in the box. 6, 7 books and like some standees and like the little bookmark things,
Yeah.
And there's all iterations that there could be. There's 2 of those bookmark looking things, and there's a reverse side to each of them where it goes the opposite direction. So all iterations that could be whispering and whisper to for a whole game are included. So it at least gives you that. And 64 mysteries. So like I said, I thought the whispering might be awkward, but it was fun and great the entire time. The rule book is incredibly simple. It's 2 pages. So there's a front to the rule book.
And
the back has all of the, like, stories about the characters. Nothing about the game on the back,
So
which
it's
is
just
fun.
one page, really.
No, I mean the inside, the two inside pages. So you look at those 2 pages, like a giant 3/4 of one of those pages is an example of play.
Huh.
And then like a quarter of a page is the quick start rules. Don't feel like reading the rules? Here's the quick start rules. I don't know how you could not feel like reading that like 1 page
that
of
small
rules.
amount, yeah.
But it's, I mean, the rules are like a third of the page. It's like you read that third of the page, you're ready to go.
Nice.
I mean, that's simple. I mean, you not much to get going, and as much depth as there is in this game, it's pretty awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where the complexity of the game is so driven by the actual game and not the complexity of the rules.
Yes.
You know, that's pretty awesome.
That is good.
You know, because you get into a lot of these heavy Euros, and a lot of the complexity of the game is like, oh, this game is complex because it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Not it's complex because the game offers such interesting decisions. And,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of them get into that. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes I felt Kanban sort of got into those areas, you know?
Yeah.
A game like Progress, Evolution, and Technology gives me more of this feeling.
Okay.
There's such interesting decisions, and I'm feeling so good about putting down this because it's got these prerequisites that's where it comes in. It wasn't a hard game to learn.
Yeah.
So, but this really goes in that direction where it's like all of the complexity of this game
Is in the gameplay.
is in the gameplay, and it's in these books and in these like simple little like 10-word questions that just like really make you just start like, oh my God, how am I going to answer that? And you have to start looking at your clues. And by the end, we were getting better at writing our clues down and like writing down every single little piece. And one of the cool things is when you're reading your own little clue booklet and you're about to start passing that along, it bolds certain words, right? So then you know, like, these are the important things to hit. So you would start just telling people the so-and-so is so-and-so, not the whole thing of like, the so-and-so is blah, blah, blah. And like, you
Didn't
wouldn't
get
tell
to
them the
it.
whole thing because we got the feeling like, oh, we're going to have to eventually remember 4 different things,
Yeah.
you know? At one point we tried, this is a really tough game. That's the thing about this, is that it's actually pretty tough.
Yeah.
We tried at one point to just jump up to the next level of difficulty, level 2 of 4. Should not have done that after only playing it a few times. So
It was really hard once.
yeah, so you start out and you've got like 2 bolded words, right? And you're like, okay, I can do this. You're eventually going to be remembering 8 things. I flipped to the like last level of difficulty, like 7 bolded words just in my clue booklet.
Wow.
So you think
28,
about that.
30
You're having to
something.
remember 25 to 30 key points to be able to answer 3 questions.
Wow.
It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
And what was really cool about this game is that they're not all just basic questions. Like, you know, those aren't basic questions because it's asking you, does this lead you to believe this? But then you get to the flower one and it's got pictures. So you remember that someone said, oh, a leaf or a flower petal fell off of this one. And then someone else said, the poisonous flower has an even number of petals. And someone else said, the poisonous flower is yellow. So you look and you go, well, I know the poisonous flower has to be yellow, but that's got an odd number. But I remember they told me that the poisonous one had a petal fall off. So, but they also told me that it's got this shape. It's tulip shaped. So this is tulip shaped. It's got an odd number, but a petal fell off. So we're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you can remember all those things and write them down really quick, I mean, it's pretty awesome, man.
Sounds pretty
People
cool.
worry about the replay value. I've heard a lot of things about the replay value of this game. But to me, you're probably not going to remember the answers to 64 different mysteries.
If you go through them
so,
one to the end.
yeah, you're really looking at, 64 times 3 because there's that many questions.
Yeah.
And you start over or even go back, you're really good at the game.
Playing
so,
different roles and things.
yeah, I mean, if you just were the kind of person that remembered every single answer or even enough to be like, I don't want to play this anymore, 64 awesome games of Witness to me is worth the small price tag. I think this game was $25 or $30. I mean, if you got 64 awesome, 15, 20-minute games out of this, I think that's pretty worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you spend that much going out to a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Put it up for 5 years and then go back to it.
Yeah.
Get 6, and maybe they'll do expansions. I
That's
don't
what
know.
I'm holding out for Cranium. We got the expansion.
Yeah.
We
There's-
played so
there's
much.
one more expansion too.
We played so much Cranium. We pretty much did start memorizing the questions, and there's a lot.
Yeah.
And we now have that and mix them in. I mean, you really, yeah. So
Yeah, man, this game to me seems like a game that I'm not necessarily going to get to the table very often because the one negative thing about this game is that it requires exactly 4 players. Can't play with less, can't play with more. So it's hard to get a group of exactly 4 people together.
Yeah.
You know, we
All the
usually
time.
play with 2 or 3, and then, you know, sometimes when we just happen to have these people come over with these people, it's 5, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, luckily we've got this, you know, couple friends that, like, we'll get 4 people and we can play this game, but I know this is going to give me a lot of enjoyment for many years to come, but I'm not going to get to play it all the time. But it seemed like a game that was probably going to be a pretty small print run. I mean, it's such a random little game.
Yeah.
But it was so interesting to me, I just had to have it. I mean, I snagged this game up. I pre-ordered this game. I don't pre-order games very often.
Yeah.
I was so excited for this, I pre-ordered it. And the theme and the art, I mean, everything about it is super interesting to me. I'm a comic book guy, and I mean, I know a lot about the history of Tintin and stuff, and I've read some Tintin comics, so, like, that theme is really cool. The art is the art from the comics.
That's pretty cool.
It's a great, great game, man. I mean, everybody should go buy this game, especially if you've got a family of 4 people and
That you
like,
could
you
play
know,
it.
teenagers or, you know, 12, 13, 14 years old, and you guys could play this game and, like, get really good at, like, cooperatively solving mysteries. I mean, a fantastic game. So Witness from Astari Games or Asmodee Editions. Oh, go get it, man. It's pretty cool. I can't wait till you get a chance to play it.
Sounds like a fixed, much better theme version of the CSI board game that I
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
I love to hate on.
I
It's so terrible.
I wish this game was popular enough, and it's not popular because, I mean, I think that it's got limitations, like 4 players only, smaller print run probably,
Yeah.
odd theme. I wish people would give it a chance. I wish it had been a huge enough release that enough people were playing it that people had figured out 2-player variant and a 3-player variant.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like waiting for the day when someone posts on Board Game Geek a 2-player variant, because that day is going to be awesome. Because I can't wait to play this with just me and you or me and my wife.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I could think of a few little ways, but there's people out there who are way better at doing these variants than I am.
Yeah.
So, anyway, man, that is Witness from Asmodee Editions.